Hi, Jenna Fryer with the Associated Press. Kyle, on the front stretch, you said you were headed to Cabo. I know you're a big fan of social media, and that immediately drew a little bit of backlash. And how could this guy dare go to Cabo?
I'm going to a wedding.
How could he dare go to Cabo on the verge of the semifinals of the playoffs?
Well, we're also going to Vegas this week, too.
I mean, they are close. It doesn't seem like a long flight, but I just wanted to give you the opportunity to justify on how you can stay focused on your job and also take vacation.
I don't know. I do it all the time. I don't know. I mean, we went to Paris in the middle of the season, so that's also another country. Which, yeah, I mean, every vacation I've taken this year, I think I've won the race leading into it, so I should start taking vacations every week. It'd be great. I shouldn't have to argue. I shouldn't have to prove a point, though. It's my life, and we perform at a high level, so whatever.
Kyle, back on Memorial Day Sunday, you left Indianapolis a little disappointed. Didn't get a chance to run a lap at Charlotte in July, August, whenever it was. You return to Indy, you win the Brickyard. Now you return here and win this race. So I think there's a little bit of a trend that you've started there. And what does it feel like to be able to get a little bit of redemption from that disappointment you felt on Memorial Day Sunday?
I don't know. I mean, I don't really think about that anymore at this point. So it was just cool to win here at home and get to have everybody there in Victory Lane celebrating from Hendrick Automotive Group and Hendrick Motorsports and the crew members, their families and kids and all that. I think that's what makes winning here at Charlotte extra special, whether it be May or October. So it was great day and great to have everybody here.
All right, we'll go to Claire, then John, and then Bob.
Claire B. Lang, talk about this race and the fact that you win heading into the next round. And there are no slackers as if there were coming in today in the next round. So does it sort of make a statement, or do you feel like, what is the advantage of winning and being able to end this round winning? Obviously getting in is a big deal, but coming in as the last winner.
Yeah, I mean, for myself and I think our team, it's no statements that we're trying to send to the field. I think the field knows that we're strong. I think the field knows that we could win, at any track. So it is nice to win and really more than anything just gain 5 more points that rolls into the next round. So we've won stages, we've won a couple races, and since the playoffs have started, and that really helps. So I'm just excited to kind of get through today and help ourselves to the next round. 3 great tracks for us, and hopefully we can make that Final Four.
And Mr. H always runs a family-oriented place. We've been talking about that for years. But in Victory Lane, Jeff Andrews' baby, the tiny little baby holding up 4, can't believe already doing that. And your daughter, Audrey, and then Ivy Daniels, they were adorable in Victory Lane, shooting photos of the media with a little purple camera. What does it mean to you to have this whole family of people there?
Yeah.
Because you don't get to do that all the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously we're at home, right? Like Hendrick Motorsports is just 2 minutes away, and Hendrick Automotive Group is 20 minutes from here probably, maybe a little bit more. And all the families and mechanics and all that, a lot of them are here today. So it just makes it really great when you can win here. And everybody sacrifices so much time away from their families. So when they get to bring their wives and kids to the racetrack, and then you get lucky enough to win that day and get to have those photos and those memories forever, it's great. So it's always fun. For me, I get to have my kids at a lot of the races, but really, I think this is the only track that a lot of our team members get to bring their families. So, it's extra special when you can win here for sure.
Go, John.
John Newby, alt driver. So before the playoffs started, I asked the 16 drivers, is it possible to go on a Tony Stewart run, win 5 of the final 10 in the next-gen car? If I remember correctly, you're the only person who said yes. So now that you've got 2 in the first 6 races of the playoffs, how are you feeling about that opportunity?
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to have 3 at this point because I feel like, maybe you could win a couple more. But yeah, it's really tough. I think in the next gen era, it's just harder to win races in general. Yes, we've won 6 races this year, which is great, but yeah, it's just hard to execute next gen races. They're just wild and all that. So yeah, I mean, to win the next 3 or 4 would be difficult, but we're gonna try. I mean, we try every week, so it'd be great if we could, but yeah, it'd be tough.
We'll go to Bob, and then we'll go to Dustin.
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. You said the rest of the field knows that you can win pretty much any week. You have twice as many wins as any other driver in the field. Is there anybody else, do you feel that the field believes can win every week?
I still view Denny as probably being, the guy that has the speed that we do. He's just had a run of some crappy luck, really, for a while, and then I don't know how his race played out today. I think the Gibbs cars are just a little off, besides Bell. But especially, I think when you look at the next 4 tracks, Denny could win at any of them. And then, I think William, too, he's just sleepy, or not sleepy, but sneaky good. Blaney, for sure, as well. I mean, you could make a case for anybody in the final 8. So, but yeah, I would say Denny kind of all season. Him and I have been the 2 consistently fastest teams. So, I would if I had to pick one guy, I would say him.
Good, Dustin.
Dustin Long, NBC Sports. Kyle, you've done this before, so I'm just curious. What do you notice in terms of the changes, the differences once you go from the second round to the third round, and what it's like on track, off track, how things change to go from round of 12 to round of 8?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not really sure. I think it gets, I don't know. I feel like it calms down a little bit once we get to the round of 8. I feel like there's, more desperate drivers, I feel like, in the round of 12. To me, the round of 12 has always been like the scariest round. Because of the tracks, but too just some of the drivers in it. But I don't know. I think the field starts giving more respect to as the group starts getting smaller. I feel like the rest of the field starts giving a little bit more respect to and give and take to the playoff guys. So I feel like it gets not easier by any means, but just a little less scary.
And look, there's a lot that's got to take place in the next month. But the idea now that after this whole long season, now instead of being 3 months, 2 months, you're a month away from potentially being a 2-time Cup champion. To getting closer to that, what does that mean, and the thought of that at this point?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you try not to get too far ahead of the skis. So I don't know. I don't really think about that. You're just kind of so locked in the moment that you're just going week by week at this point. I think for me, in the times that I've made the Final Four, once I get to that point of that week, it's more of like a very satisfying that you're even in this position and a privilege. So, but until you get to that point, it's hard to kind of forecast at all.
All right, we'll put a halt down here. I believe we have some questions at the press box.
Yeah, Kyle Larson, Kyle Steve Post, Motor Racing Network. This round, you just called this round scary. And when you came out of Kansas with a 26th place finish going to your nemesis, Talladega, how did you feel at that point? How relieved was the Talladega finish? And then how did that kind of catapult you into how you could race today, knowing that midway through this race you got locked in? Just kind of what was the attitude like as you worked through this round with that brutal start out at Kansas?
Yeah, really to start both of the rounds, we had a DNF at Atlanta, and I think we left there with like 15 points ahead of the cut line after, having a ton of playoff points. So I was a bit nervous after that, going to Watkins Glen, and then same exact thing, if not worse, after Kansas. I knew Kansas would be a great opportunity for us to gain a lot of points. And when you go there and you have issues in the very beginning, and you're not going to get stage points and not going to get a good finish, just like, dang, now we're going to Talladega, and I could get wiped out there, and now I could have, say I had a DNF early on at Talladega. I mean, I could have been 15 or whatever points below the cut line, and then that just changes the whole outlook for the Roval. So finally had a Talladega go clean for once, and yeah, we left there with a big point gap, and I think that really helps your race here because you can call the strategy way different. You're not kind of being so timid behind the wheel too, and yeah, so it really, getting through Talladega really helped our nerves for today, and really helped our race for today.
I believe we have one more in the press box.
Hi, Jenna Fryer with the Associated Press. Kyle, on the front stretch, you said you were headed to Cabo. I know you're a big fan of social media, and that immediately drew a little bit of backlash. And how could this guy dare go to Cabo?
I'm going to a wedding.
How could he dare go to Cabo on the verge of the semifinals of the playoffs?
Well, we're also going to Vegas this week too, so.
I mean, they are close. It doesn't seem like a long flight, but I just wanted to give you the opportunity to justify on how you can stay focused on your job and also take vacation.
I don't know. I do it all the time, so I don't know. I mean, we went to Paris in the middle of the season, so that's also another country, which, yeah, I mean, every vacation I've taken this year, I think I've won the race leading into it, so I should start taking vacations every week. It'd be great.
We'll go up to
I
Trent.
shouldn't have to argue. I shouldn't have to prove a point, though. It's my life, and we perform at a high level, so whatever.
We'll go to Trent next.
Trent Walsh from frontstretch.com. Kyle, going into Las Vegas for the round of 8, this round, how do you reset after a win like this to mentally prepare yourself to go into another round, being like, okay, now we have to execute for another 3 races to get into, the championship 4 race and everything. So mentally, the ups and downs of accomplishment, but also having to reset at 0 and make it to the next round. How's that work for you?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think you really in the playoffs have to take it week by week. Yeah, I mean, when you close out a round and move into the next round, it's even more of a reset because for us, in our case, the points reset, which gets us even closer to the cut line than we were, but still a fair amount above it. But yeah, I mean, just and two, it changes with the tracks and the schedule. So for us, these next 3 are great tracks for us. So I just look at it as really good opportunity. We would love to win, but if we could just go there and perform kind of how we typically do, we could have a really good point gap as before we get to Martinsville. So that's my goal, is just to be up front all race long at these next 2 races especially, but even Martinsville as well.
We'll close out with Steven.
Steven Stump, frontstretch.com. Kyle, during that final lap, you had to race Bell, but you also guys had to go around Suarez as you were coming up to lap him. What was kind of navigating through that situation like, and were you kind of calm as I'll get by eventually, or did you kind of feel like you had to push the issue and just get by as soon as you could?
Yeah, I mean, I was catching Suarez a lot, and I knew he was gonna get out of my way once I got there. I was really kind of hoping he wasn't going to get out of my way into the hairpin. I was hoping, he would just kind of run his own normal hairpin and just kind of let me go on the straightaway. But yeah, I had to kind of close my corner off, and it's really slick over there. And then when you close tighten your corner, it's hard to accelerate. So I was like, dang it, now Bella's probably going to be closer to me. But, it worked out fine. So, yeah, it was just, it got a little closer than I wanted to be, but I had a comfortable enough gap that I knew once I caught Daniel, it would be okay.
All right, well, Kyle, congrats on your win today and for moving on to the next round.
Yep, thank you.